I've always been the careful one in relationships. My friends even call me Cautious Craig because I never fully committed unless I was absolutely sure. That all changed when I met Vanessa. After 2 years together, I proposed, convinced she was the one. Our engagement party was set for last Saturday at her father's exclusive country club. Vanessa's family comes from serious money. Her father, Gerald, a high-powered investment banker, made it abundantly clear that he thought his daughter was settling by choosing me. I run a successful landscaping business, not exactly the hedge fund manager he had envisioned for his princess. But none of that mattered to me. I loved Vanessa, and I believed we were building something real. The engagement party was in full swing, a lavish affair filled with champagne, elegant decor, and the hum of polite conversations. But as the evening went on, I noticed Vanessa had disappeared. A nagging feeling crept in, and after searching the venue, I finally found her, in a dimly lit coachroom, wrapped in the arms of her ex, Devon. They were kissing, lost in the moment, completely oblivious to my presence. I just stood there, frozen, watching. Devon saw me first and immediately stepped back. Vanessa turned, her expression unreadable, no guilt, no panic. Instead, she rolled her eyes. Seriously, Craig? It's just a goodbye kiss. We have history. I didn't say a word. My mind was still processing, but before I could react, she scoffed, her voice sharp. God, don't be such an insecure loser. Devon and I dated for years. We were just getting closure. Behind her, Devon smirked. Yeah, man. Don't make this weird. Something inside me shifted. A switch flipped. I nodded, smiled, and turned away. Craig. Vanessa called after me. Don't you dare make a scene. I didn't. I simply walked out, grabbed my jacket, and left. My phone started buzzing almost immediately. Texts from Vanessa, frantic messages about how I was embarrassing her, how her father was furious. I turned it off. By 2 a.m., I had packed my essentials into my SUV, leaving behind the engagement ring on the kitchen counter with a simple note, goodbye kiss. I drove to my best friend Tyler's place, where he was waiting with a cold beer and a spare room. The next morning, I woke up to a flood of missed calls and texts. Among them, a voicemail from Gerald, his usual arrogance replaced with restrained politeness. Craig, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Call me back so we can discuss this like gentlemen. I didn't call back. Instead, I quietly began undoing everything. I contacted our wedding vendors and cancelled every booking. Despite Gerald's wealth, I had insisted on paying my fair share, and thankfully, most vendors were understanding. Some even offered partial refunds when they heard what had happened. Meanwhile, Vanessa's messages shifted from anger to desperation. Please talk to me. It wasn't what it looked like. We need to talk in person. Then one that was particularly revealing. Devon means nothing to me. He was just there, and it happened. Don't throw away what we have over something so stupid. I finally responded with a single text. I'm not throwing away what we had. You already did that. That was the last message I sent her. A few days later, she showed up at my job site. I was in the middle of a consultation with a client when her sleek Mercedes pulled up. She got out, storming toward me, completely ignoring the fact that I was working. You need to stop this childish silent treatment, she snapped. We're getting married in 4 months. I calmly led her away from my client's earshot. No, Vanessa. We're not. I've already cancelled everything. Her expression went from indignant to stunned. You what? I cancelled the wedding. The vendors. Everything. You can't do that, she shrieked. My father has already invited his business associates. Then I guess you and Devon will have to figure something out. Her fury boiled over. She slapped me, hard. Hard enough that my client definitely noticed. Screw you, she spat. I was going to tell you it was a mistake, that Devon caught me off guard, but now I'm glad you saw us. You never deserved me anyway. I just smiled, unfazed. You know what's interesting? You're more upset about the cancelled wedding than losing me. She had no response to that. She just turned and stormed off. Later that evening, Gerald called again. This time, I answered. Craig, he said, his voice smooth and composed, we need to discuss this situation. There's nothing to discuss, I replied. Don't be hasty. Everyone makes mistakes. Vanessa is very sorry. Is she sorry it happened? Or just sorry I saw it? A pause. Then, a measured sigh. Look, I understand you're hurt, but perhaps we could come to an arrangement to make this go away quietly. I almost laughed. Are you trying to bribe me into marrying your daughter after she cheated? I wouldn't phrase it that way, he said smoothly. I'm offering compensation for your emotional distress. I hung up. Not long after, another message came through, this time from Devon. This is Devon. We should talk. Man to man. Blocked. No response. And the strangest part. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was just done. Gerald sat stiffly in the reception area of my office, his expensive suit and air of quiet authority clashing with the more relaxed, hard-working energy of my business. When I walked in, he barely looked up, just exhaled sharply and said, "We need to talk." I led him into my office, shutting the door behind us. He got straight to the point. "I've been looking into your business," he began with a smirk. "You've done well for yourself, considering your background." I leaned back, unimpressed. "What do you want, Gerald?" His smile thinned. "You have loans on your equipment. You've bid on the Westview Park project, haven't you?" He let that hang in the air for a moment before adding, "Did you know I sit on the board that approves those bids?" A slow, creeping realization tightened in my stomach, but I kept my face neutral. "Are you threatening my livelihood because I won't marry your cheating daughter?" He spread his hands in mock innocence. "I'm simply pointing out that actions have consequences. Vanessa made a mistake, one kiss, and now you're punishing her by humiliating our family." "One kiss I happened to see," I corrected him, my voice even. "And I'm not punishing anyone. I'm protecting myself." Gerald leaned forward, his voice low and deliberate. "Be reasonable. The wedding can be postponed, not cancelled." I studied him, then asked the question that had been circling in my mind since this all began. "Why are you so desperate for this wedding to happen? You never even liked me." Something flickered across his face, something close to worry, but he quickly masked it. "Vanessa wants this marriage," he said firmly. "No, she wants a wedding. There's a difference." And that's when it clicked. This wasn't about love, or even about the family's reputation. There was something else at play. Gerald left with a final, veiled reminder about the Westview bid, but the moment he was gone, I called my friend Marcus. He worked at a firm that handled contracts for Gerald's company. "Can you check something for me?" I asked. "Anything unusual going on with Gerald Bennett's company?" An hour later, Marcus called back. His voice was hushed, almost incredulous. "Dude, how did you know? It's not public yet, but there are rumors. Their quarterly reports had discrepancies, and the SEC is looking into it." Suddenly, Gerald's desperation made perfect sense. He needed the illusion of stability, a grand, high-profile wedding to distract from whatever storm was brewing behind the scenes. I sent him a short text. "I know about the SEC." No response. But the next morning, the Westview Park board approved my bid. Meanwhile, Vanessa was working hard to rewrite history. She began telling anyone who would listen that I was controlling, jealous, and emotionally abusive. That she had escaped our relationship. Some mutual friends reached out, concerned, and I simply told them the truth. I caught her kissing her ex, and I left. Simple as that. And then came the real bombshell. A message popped up in my Instagram DMs from someone named Ariel. "Devon's been cheating on me with Vanessa for months," she wrote. "Not just a goodbye kiss." I found their messages. I met Ariel for coffee, and she laid everything out. She had screenshots of text conversations going back at least 6 months, hotel meetups, explicit messages, and plans for the future. In one message, Vanessa had written, "Craig is just a stepping stone. He has good connections for my design business. Once I've established myself, we can be together." Ariel and I compared timelines. The night before my engagement party, Devon had promised her he'd break things off so he and Vanessa could finally be together. The goodbye kiss I'd walked in on? It was actually a celebration of their new beginning. Ariel looked at me across the cafe table. "What are you going to do with this?" "Nothing," I said, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. "I don't need to do anything. The truth will come out on its own." And it did. A few days later, Vanessa's best friend, Jessie, called me. "We'd always gotten along well. I can't believe what she did to you," she said. "She's telling everyone you controlled her money, isolated her, the whole victim act." "You know that's not true," I said. "Of course I do. That's why I'm calling." She hesitated, then added, "I've known about her and Devon for a while. I should have told you." Then she sent me an email. Attached was an invitation to Vanessa's Freedom Celebration party that weekend. She had invited everyone, including Devon. I checked my email, then without a word, forwarded the invitation to Gerald. No message. No context. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. "What do you want?" Gerald asked, his voice tight. "Nothing," I said simply. "Just thought you should know what your daughter is up to while you're trying to save her engagement." He hung up without another word. I didn't go to the party, but I heard about what happened. Gerald showed up, uninvited, just as Vanessa and Devon were getting cozy on the dance floor. He caused a massive scene, dragging Vanessa outside for what witnesses described as a nuclear argument. Apparently, his company's financial troubles were worse than anyone realized, and Vanessa's behavior wasn't helping. A week later, the news broke: Gerald's company was under federal investigation. Their stock tanked 60% in a single day. Vanessa tried contacting me again, sending a long, emotional email about making the biggest mistake of her life and needing my support during this difficult family time. I never responded. As for Devon, he ghosted her the moment the Bennett fortune took a hit. Ariel told me he even tried crawling back to her, claiming Vanessa had pursued him relentlessly. She wasn't buying it. Meanwhile, my business was thriving. The Westview Park project had been a huge success, leading to even bigger municipal contracts. I hired more employees, moved into a bigger office, and finally felt like I was standing on solid ground. About 6 weeks later, I was out having dinner with Eliza, the woman I'd casually mentioned before. We were dating now, nothing rushed, just easy and good. And then Vanessa walked in. She spotted me immediately and came over, her smile forced, her voice overly bright. "Craig, how are you?" "I'm good," I said easily. "Vanessa, this is Eliza." Eliza gave her a polite, indifferent smile but didn't say a word. The silence stretched between us. Vanessa cleared her throat. "I've been thinking about you. Maybe we could talk sometime? For closure." Before I could answer, one of her friends called from across the restaurant. "Vanessa, your dad's on the phone. He says it's urgent." Panic flashed across her face. "I have to take this. But call me, okay?" She hurried off. Eliza raised an eyebrow. "So that's the famous Vanessa?" "That's her," I confirmed. "She seems intense." We both laughed, and that was that. I never called. Last week, Gerald pleaded guilty to securities fraud. The news reported that he was liquidating personal assets, including the country club where my engagement party had been held. Vanessa. She had to move out of our old apartment and into something much smaller. Her dreams of an independent design studio were gone. She had taken a corporate job instead. "Jesse told me, she still talks about you, you know. Says you're the one who got away." "I'm not the one who got away," I told her. "I'm the one who walked away. There's a difference. I don't take pleasure in their downfall. This wasn't my doing, just the natural consequences of their own sea."